Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And you guessed it, my friends, back again with another amazing guest this morning. Her name is Tiffany. She has decided to pursue online business over pursuing her university journey. And we're going to find out why she made that decision. We're also going to hear from her again. She's a returning guest. She was on the show back in August of 2022. And so it's really awesome to catch up with somebody, a couple of years later and see how they're doing and what they're up to. With that being said, Tiffany, welcome back to the show.
Hey Dave, how are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So, golly, it's so awesome to kind of have you back on the show after some time to, get an update about where you're at and how you're doing. Obviously things are going at least okay enough for you to still be doing this. And maybe even better than just okay. Before we get into that, why don't you take us back for those who didn't hear your story before and tell us kind of why you decided to pursue this in the first place?
Yeah, so if we go all the way back to 2022, which is when I kind of got started in this, I was in university. I was working part-time as a house cleaner, kind of just trying to pay as much of my tuition as I could. And I honestly just really wasn't enjoying the way my life was going. I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing with the house cleaning or with university, to be completely honest. I really just kind of thought that that's what I had to do, though. Like, I just was raised being told if you want to be successful, you go to school, you get a degree, you get a high paying job, and that's what you do for the rest of your life. And so that's what I was going to do. I was going to pursue veterinary medicine because I love animals. And I was kind of just like, what's the highest paying job I can choose working with animals? And that's kind of how I landed upon that. Even though I wasn't really super interested in medicine or, actually working that job, I just liked animals. So that's kind of just what I decided to do. And as I was scrolling on TikTok one day, as most of us were, I saw somebody talking about affiliate marketing specifically. And I was just really intrigued by that. At the point where I was at, I wasn't thinking at all about, an online business being my career path. I was more so thinking maybe this is just something fun I could do on the side to earn some extra money while I'm in school. So that's really how I fell into Legendary, is just through people I saw on TikTok talking about affiliate marketing. I was introduced to what was then the 7-day challenge or the 15-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I went through that. I ended up purchasing the blueprints because I was just really intrigued. And I was like, no, I absolutely want to do this. I don't know what it's going to become, but online business and entrepreneurship, this sounds like exactly what I want to do. Um, and yeah, so I ended up just going in with affiliate marketing. I did that for a while. I really enjoyed that. And as time went on, I really just started enjoying the content creation process, the content strategy creation process. I learned a whole lot in 2 years about social media marketing. And so much that I learned just through Legendary Marketer, but also from just personal experience. And I kind of just got to a point where I was like, I think I want to move up now. I'm still going to do affiliate marketing, but now I want to start my own online business that's a little bit more, me providing a service opposed to just promoting somebody else's products. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at here. I ended up dropping out of university in January. So I've been kind of a full-time entrepreneur since then and really been loving it. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds with that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. One of the things that you said in your questionnaire that we ask everybody to fill out when we invite them onto the show is going from what you should do to what you were meant to do. That that stuck out to me. That resonated with me, and I wonder if how many others that are listening to it resonates with. How what advice do you have for whether it be younger or older people? I mean, we're all kind of persuaded to do what we should do, whether it be directly or indirectly, by peer and social pressure. I mean, you're closer to it than I am going through school. Hey, what college are you going to? What job are you going to get when you, right? There's all this kind of social conditioning and programming that really prime us to think that going to college and getting a good job and being a good little boy and girl and stocking away that percentage into whatever, and getting that mortgage and paying that student loan debt is kind of the only path. Where did you find the courage, I guess, to step outside of that kind of blazed trail that everybody else had blazed? And did you face any internal or external criticism, or even internal like doubt that, like, you're not doing the right thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for me, it was a really slow process because I started all this 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now. And at the time when I was first learning about what was possible online and online marketing, I had never even imagined dropping out of school at that point. I just thought this could be something fun to do on the side. And I think for me, it was really just a long journey of, doing what I felt like I was supposed to do, which was going to school, and then doing what I was enjoying doing on the side. And over time, I honestly came to realize that I was trying to rush through my schoolwork so that I could work on my online business, because that's just really what I was enjoying. And I mean, it took me like almost 2 years to realize, why am I forcing myself to do something I don't want to do with my life just to please other people? And there was a lot of fear in that, because obviously when it comes to having any sort of business, there's no guarantees of success. But then when you think about it, getting a degree, there's no guarantees of success with that either. So you're really just weighing your options at that point of, what risk do I want to take and how do I want to live my life? And I really just came to realize that I've been holding on to this ideal of what I should do for so long, that it's been so ingrained in me that this is just what I have to do. But when I actually took a step back and asked myself what I want to do, the answer was, I want to be in control of my career path. I want to be in control of my time and my income streams more so than I could from just having a 9-to-5 job. And I have gained so many skills over this past 2 years that I mean, honestly, the amount of time that I've spent in my business, learning about business, learning the skills, I've probably gained a master's degree with just the amount of time I've put in on the side. Like, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that I'm qualified to pursue and learn as I go. So that's really what it came to. And it took me a long time to get there, but I'm really glad that I finally did.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations for that massive self-esteem boost. I really think that, realizing that we don't need so much outside validation in order to be someone of importance or successful or credible. Nowadays, a lot of these degrees, you walk into a corporate America to apply for a job, and they don't even, if they're honest, and some of them are becoming more honest. You even see articles and stories or interviews. Let me say interviews, because I don't, if it's coming from the horse's mouth, that's great. But if it's coming from, some news reporter, I don't trust it. However, you hear some of these CEOs or people who are running these companies saying, look, the degree from XYZ University is not the most important thing to us. And as a matter of fact, there's companies like Google who are starting their own internal education platforms because they really want to train people. They're realizing that even if somebody has college experience, there's often an element of training or retraining people. We noticed here at Legendary that people who come in with certain business degrees or marketing degrees oftentimes need to be retrained and don't even have the concept of do whatever it takes, grit, trying, testing, critical thinking skills that are oftentimes lacking because we get so good at just test taking, right? And thinking that if we, and that's the challenge with entrepreneurship too. So in your opinion, many people go from like employment, which I know you had a job, to entrepreneurship. You went from school and you were doing cleaning to entrepreneurship. How is entrepreneurship different in your opinion now that you've got 2 years experience in the game? How is it different? What do people need to be prepared for and not so shocked by when they start a business that is different from what you experienced in school or, a job that you may have had before this?
Yeah. So, and I mean, my cleaning job was kind of an entrepreneurship journey as well. I was doing it as a freelancer. So I wasn't technically working a job for that, but it wasn't like in control of my everything kind of entrepreneurship. It was more just so I'm still working for somebody, just I don't have an overhead. But definitely with entrepreneurship, I think you really need to have or be able to develop a sense of self accountability. You really need to be able to sit down and say, this isn't a part of my business that I'm especially excited to work on right now, but I'm going to get it done. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, even when I don't feel like it. Like I'm a total introvert. Content filming day for me is like, I need to have like a whole pep talk for myself before I can get on the camera because I'm not excited about it. I don't like being on the camera, but I love the impact I can make on other people by posting my content. So I have to remind myself of why I'm doing this to make the parts that I don't want to do, I don't want to say enjoyable because the reality is it's not always enjoyable, but tolerable, like I can get myself to do it. And I think that was kind of a shock for me in the beginning, is like in the beginning you have this motivation, you want to do everything, you're so excited, and then you get a few months or a few weeks in and it's not as exciting anymore. You don't necessarily want to do every single part of it, but you need to have that structure in order to say, no, I'm reaching for a bigger goal. So I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to do this work, even when I don't feel like doing it.
Mm. Yeah, that's really well said. Let's talk a little bit about, one of the things that you said in your questionnaire was how the progression of starting an online business and affiliate marketing can lead to so many different business options. Here we teach the core 4 business models of selling information online, right? It's courses, coaching, events, or doing affiliate marketing, selling somebody else's information product. However, the skills that you develop here, copywriting, funnel building, content creation, can truly lead you also in so many other directions as well. Even if you wanted to just work as a copywriting freelancer, or maybe you got really good using, artificial intelligence and you became a content creator and AI expert. Some people might want to work with clients and say, hey, I developed the skills to run a marketing agency. How has your business progressed to add additional stools, legs to your stool, starting with affiliate marketing and expanding out from there?
Yeah. So, I mean, my most recent kind of venture that I've been starting is taking what I've learned about content marketing and creating content strategies and content creation and actually doing that for other businesses. So another stream of income that I've recently been adding is social media management and strategy. So I'm taking all the skills that I'm learning and I'm testing things as I'm creating my own content, so I know what's working. And then I can go to another business and say, okay, this is your goal. Here's the kind of content that you should be creating, or that I would recommend you create for that goal. And they can hire me to either create that content for them. They can hire me to just create the strategy for them, and they can go do it themselves. And I can kind of just be a consultant. In the future, I plan on creating digital products with the same purpose in mind. I think really just affiliate marketing, learning those basic skills really just opens the door to the other core three, but also just, you know, you can do so many things with these skills aside from just marketing products. You know, you can go out, be a freelancer. You could go out and get a job as a marketer if you wanted to.
Right.
You could start any kind of other business that requires marketing, which is every business. And it really just gives you that baseline of confidence and skills that you need to be able to do that. And I think the important thing too is it also lets you know where the gaps are. Like you can go through training and then see, okay, I really enjoy this part of it, or I think I want to do this with, like, say, copywriting. And then you could say, okay, but what else do I need? Where do I need to dive even deeper into that? And you can build your skills, because then you know where the gaps are. You know what else you need to learn. And it's easier to be able to build up because you have that foundation.
Yeah. Really well said. And, you know, I could get a job and would have been able to relatively quickly after, when I say relatively quickly, quicker than 4 years, which is just how long it takes to get a bachelor's degree, which nowadays, based on what I'm hearing out and have heard for many years, a bachelor's degree is not what most companies are looking for with a reasonably high paying job. They're looking for master's minimum. Masters in business, masters in psychology, master in education. Bachelor's is, I mean, we used to hear about associate's degrees. Nowadays, you don't even hear about associate's degree, and you're in many respects not hearing about bachelor's degrees anymore. So, a master's degree, to my knowledge, takes about 5 to 6 years. I could have got a job doing some sort of marketing at a company, relatively high paying job, probably around the same amount as somebody with a master's degree. Again, this is just me assuming, okay? It's not facts. I didn't go and interview, but I had the confidence to walk in, and I was sought out from people who had marketers that were working for them with marketing degrees, and they were hiring me to come in and give them advice, give them consulting. Back when I was doing more consulting, it was, I became somebody who, because I had a presence, because I had success doing marketing, people looked to and said, there's credibility here. I want to know, I want to learn, I want your advice. And it was because of the action I was taking and the results I was getting. It wasn't because I had, a piece of paper. And I think that's where people really need to shift to understand what is value in the marketplace nowadays. It's not a piece of paper. It's not a certificate. It's not. People are smarter than that. The marketplace has smartened up to realize that, a certificate means nothing. A certificate without experience means nothing. The big question is, what's your experience? What's your experience? And that's, I think, one of the big disappointing things for people coming out of college. I feel sorry for kids who weren't kind of given the full picture. Do you feel ever like, kids are not given the full story, or, don't get the tape played all the way through for them to understand the additional hurdles they're going to have to face after they graduate, as well as the debt they're going to have to pay off, not to mention, It's a unforgivable type of debt. It's like taxes. It's unforgivable in a bankruptcy court. Do you ever look back and say something's got to change here? And kids, the youth of our country, are kind of getting the wool pulled over their eyes in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually a big part of the messaging I try to put out in my content is, I mainly talk to, obviously, I'm a younger adult. And so my audience is mainly other younger adults. And a lot of them are students or feel like they should be in school. And so a lot of the messaging I try and put out is not necessarily discouraging them from that, but letting them know the reality of it, that, you can go to school for your 4-year degree. That's great. And I don't know what tuition's like there. I'm in Canada, and tuition for me would be like $50,000 for a bachelor's degree around there. And it's like, you're going into that in your early 20s without any source of income. And you have no idea if you're even going to be able to get a job after that. You're just guessing. And a lot of people don't even know what they enjoy yet at that point in their lives. They don't know if they want to pursue a career in that. They're just picking something, because that's really what it was for me. It was just, I graduated high school and I had to pick something. Yeah. I had no idea what I wanted to do. For me, it was, I like animals. I'm going to be a veterinarian. And not even really knowing what it was to be a veterinarian, and nothing against that. Yeah. It would be a wonderful job. It's just not what I want to do. I came to realize over time that my true passions just lie in helping animals in general, which is why my goal now is to be able to open an animal rescue and be able to help animals that way. And I don't need a degree to do that, but I do need a solid source of income. And so I'm really just trying to let people know that, it's okay to not know what you want to do in your 20s. You don't need to go $50,000 in debt on a hunch. You can take time to explore your options before you decide whether or not to go to school.
Whew. You said a mouthful there, girl. I mean, talk about just breaking down the simplicity of life right there. That's how business and the marketplace works, is that, yeah, you want to start something, it takes money. It's so funny when, businesses, they have, some founder that is, started the company as a college dropout like Mark Zuckerberg, right? And they end up hiring all these people with college degrees, right? To work for them. And here the guy with no degree is in charge of has all these people with degrees working for him. And then, once again, the person with no degrees but money is investing in starting all of these new companies. I mean, if you look at Facebook, love them or hate them, Mark Zuckerberg has invested incredible amounts of money, incredible amounts of, you look at Instagram, you look at some of the other initiatives, just incredible. And that's not just Mark. He's not a one-off exception to the rule. There's a ton of big time legendary entrepreneurs who dropped out of school to follow a business passion, became wildly rich, and went on to, change an industry or impact the world in amazing ways. We have to do a better job as a society. And it's happening. It actually is happening. It's happening because of the internet. Kids are being exposed to other opportunity besides college, and they're waking up to the fact of the predatory behavior that happens when our kids turn 18 and they start getting hammered with credit card applications. And to an 18-year-old, that just looks like free money sometimes. You know, I mean, without an education, without a financial literacy, that's what we should be educating our kids on in high school is financial literacy. How to, what is interest? What is interest on a credit card? What is interest on a stock or on an investment? Both the good and the bad sides of interest. How do you how do you manage a checking account? How do you write checks? How do you balance a checkbook? I mean, these are all things that, how do you invest in a stock? How do you buy a stock? We hear stock market. How do you actually buy a stock? What is a stock? What's an equity? What's a bond? What's an index fund? And the difference between that and a right, just basic stuff that really,
Mhm.
as an adult, I now realize is basic stuff. But I had to go out and learn all of that on my own. That was
Mhm.
something that I was interested in and said, look, nobody ever taught me this. I want to go learn this stuff on my own. Not to mention that, I was a ninth grade dropout, high school dropout. It was not because I was so smart. It was because I took a wrong path somewhere. But in some ways, it kind of spared me the programming of high school and then college. And I developed an entrepreneurial spirit kind of through hustling and surviving that
Mhm.
has, I've turned that struggle into a strength over time. And in some ways, I'm kind of grateful that I did. Um, so, what else, have you, what else, how, in what other ways have you taken these skills and, are now applying them? You're starting them, you're wanting to work with businesses as a social media manager. So that's one thing that I heard that you're doing.
Mhm.
Um, are you still doing any affiliate marketing? Are you still what, and when you want to create a course, what is that going to, what topic is that going to be on?
Yeah, so I am still planning on doing affiliate marketing. If you look at my social media right now, I actually haven't posted in about a month, and that was intentional. To be completely honest with you, I'm a very type A person, and when I get in a routine, it's really hard for me to stop that routine. And I have been in the routine of posting on social media 2 to 4 times a day since 2022 when I first started, like never missed a day.
Mm,
But something I kind of realized as I was trying to take on the social media management and build up kind of a second business is that I needed to put all of my energy into that one thing instead of dividing it between two. So, for the past little while, I've actually just been taking a step back to focus on the social media management. It's a very new business for me, so it's something I wanted to put my full energy into. So I stopped doing a lot of the posting for that very reason. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to go back to it. And I'm actually considering starting a few new accounts as well
mm,
because I want to try different angles of marketing and just be able to test all different things. Um, but affiliate marketing is really what my whole education is rooted in now. It's what I've been doing for the past 2 years. It's what got me started in entrepreneurship. And I do see a lot of value in that. Obviously, I'm not going to say money, but I've had results from it. And it's something I enjoy doing, especially because, it is what I got started with. So it's something I plan on going back to and still continuing with. But I think it's important when you're starting, having like multiple businesses is that you need to decide where you want to focus your energy on in that moment, because when you're
mm,
dividing it between like two or three things, you're not putting in your best effort into all three. So I
mm,
do plan on going back to affiliate marketing. I plan on doing digital products. But right now I want to take it one step at a time and really put everything I have into each step of it. So right now my
mm,
focus is on building up my clientele with social media management, about establishing my authority in that kind of industry. And then once I have a routine with that, I plan on adding back in the affiliate marketing. And then as I learn what my clients need and what, the gaps are in the market when it comes to teaching businesses about social media, I plan on creating a digital product there to fill that gap, to help people who maybe don't want to completely invest in a social media manager, but want to learn the specific skills for their industry, for their business.
Love
So
that.
I kind of just take it one step at a time.
Okay. Great. And having a plan and sticking with that plan is wonderful. And the fact that you've stuck with your plan, to, uh, you know, create content daily has been an amazing accomplishment. And now I'm so confident that whatever you put your mind to next, you're going to crush as well. Talk to us a little bit about how you were able to stick to posting in being as consistent as you have been with your marketing efforts over the past 2 years. There's some people who that's their number one struggle. What advice do you have for them around that?
I mean, I think it really depends. What you have to know yourself, and you have to know what works for you. I know that some people, it works best for them to just every day they're going to create the content for that day, and that just works for them. For me personally, what works best is having weekly time blocks. I would batch content for an entire week. I had literally my schedule in my calendar was Mondays, I plan out what I'm going to create for the week. I plan out the topics. I plan out what I want the visuals to be. Tuesdays, I record everything. All the footage is done there. And I do utilize B-roll as well. So that does make filming easier, having a B-roll content bank that I can go back to. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays, I edit all of the content. And this is for the next week. I plan it a week in advance. So Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm editing, adding all the captions, adding the hashtags, the text on screen, all of that. And then Friday is kind of just when I look at my analytics and I reflect on the content from the previous week and how it's performed, and decide, how I want to continue on with my content strategy based on those results. So for me, having that weekly routine of I know exactly what I'm going to do each day of the week really helped me stay consistent with that. Because once you do something for, if if you stick with that for a solid month or two, it kind of just becomes ingrained in you that like, this is what I do on Mondays. So it's not as difficult to get yourself to do it when you know exactly what you're going to do.
Um, so what would you do if you missed a day? How do you recover from that? I feel like when people build a routine and then miss a day, they kind of begin to they go into a kind of catastrophic spiral. How do you recover from that? How did you handle going on vacations and other things that just came up in your life that, you got sick? Like, what was your approach to that?
To be completely honest with you, I have definitely been in those spirals where I was like, oh crap, I missed Monday. I don't know what I'm recording on Tuesday. What am I going to do? And I've definitely had my moments where I've just like panicked and thrown up, some not super great piece of content just to get it out there. But over time, I think I just started to realize I got to know myself better in the process. And, if I'm going on a vacation for a week, let's say, then I will look at my calendar and I'll say, okay, well, I can double up on the days on the week before. So I can plan out 2 weeks of content instead of one. And if that's not realistic, maybe I can just repurpose a piece of content. Maybe, it's better to show up once a day instead of no times a day. So if I'm trying to post 3 times a day and that's realistically not going to happen for me one week, I'll just go down to posting once a day, still show up every day, but I don't need to, push myself to a point where I'm going to be anxious and not create the best content, and not every piece of content is going to be your best content, but you just get in the flow of, I know what I want to show up for my audience. I know what I want to do. And so I'm going to find the time to do it. And it really just comes back to that kind of self-discipline that I talked about a bit in the beginning, is you just have to stay clear on, I know why I'm doing this. I want to do this. So I'm going to find a way to do it and I'm going to get it done. I think that's kind of what my motto has been with that.
Yeah. You had kind of alluded a little bit to what you had learned about yourself, but if I ask you again for you to reflect on, what have you learned about yourself? What has this journey over the past 2 years taught you about you? What would you say to that?
I think for sure it's taught me a lot about what my aspirations are. I think it's taught me how I want to live my life is a big one. And it's not, for me, it's not working a 9 to 5 job and, you know, just sticking to the same thing for the next whatever years. I think it's really just taught me that I also have the power to be able to choose that for myself and to be able to explore what I enjoy, and really just gave me the confidence to say, you know, this is what I want to do and I'm going to pursue it. And I know it's going to take time and I'm not going to be great in the beginning, but you know, I'm going to try this thing because it's what I want to do and it aligns with what I want for my life. So I think it's really given me that opportunity to just reflect on what I want for my life instead of what I feel like is expected of my life. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
What an inspiration you are, and what, you know, and a great example you are of what's possible and how to, you know, how to choose a path and stick with it. Tiffany, I couldn't be more excited to have had you back on the show here this morning. Keep up the great work. If there's anything that I can do to help, please let me know. Coming back on and giving back here means the world to me. So thank you for taking the time to do it. And I look forward to having you back again in the near future if you'll do it.
Absolutely. I would love to.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, my friends, you can go and find and follow Tiffany's journey. Of course, she's on TikTok at Hustle to Thrive. She's also over on Instagram at Hustle to Thrive with Tiff, Tiff. Hustle to Thrive with Tiff, Tiff. All one word, no spaces or underscores. Incredible, incredible story, example of what's possible when, you know, you really stick with something, when you kind of also detach from everybody's, uh, you know, the masses. Most of the time, although we're not kind of cattle being herded, we act like it. We do what everybody else is doing, and then we get mediocre results. And if you listen to the most successful entrepreneurs and investors closely, for example, Warren Buffett would say, when everybody's fearful, be greedy. When everybody's greedy, be fearful. That's some of his key investing advice that I've listened to and found to be true. When everybody's afraid, when everybody's holding on to their money, waiting for the market to kind of come back up, for example, you know, he says, be greedy. That's when you want to invest, right? When the market's down, when things are cheap. Whereas when everybody's greedy, because everything, and you'll find when stocks are going to the moon, you know, just like you've seen Bitcoin do this a couple of times. When it's going to the moon and everybody's greedy, be fearful, right? Be fearful. And that same advice applies in pursuing a career. When everybody's so focused on what college am I going to get into? Hey, be cautious about that, right? What can you do differently? How can you take an alternative path? That's what Tiffany did. And she's done what she's meant to do. These are her words, not mine, instead of what she should do, which brings up such a great reminder for me that anytime I'm shooting on myself or somebody else is shooting on me, and I say they're shooting on me, kind of like shitting on me, right? It kind of goes hand in hand, those two words sometimes for me, because it's like, I don't want to shit on myself, meaning put myself down. I also don't want to should on myself, because that's also in some ways putting myself down. Well, you should have done this, or you should do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't should on me. I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I'm doing what I want to do. It's okay to do what you want to do in your life. It took me a long time to realize that. It's okay to do what you want to do. It's your life. So often we also get raised by parents who want to live vicariously through us. They want us to be doctors or, a lot of my immigrant friends have dealt with this because their parents immigrated over from another country. They say, well, hey, I worked so hard to get you into this country. I want you to become a doctor or a lawyer. And it's like, hey, I don't want to do that. This is my life. Thanks for coming. And don't try to live vicariously through me, right? Also, people who have parents that are in a certain profession and say, well, you got to also be a lawyer. You also got to be a doctor. You're third generation. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A lot of times they'll pursue that particular career and then be in it for a couple of years and realize this is not what I want to do, and have a big kind of midlife crisis. Hey, think about things, friends. The internet's here. The information's here. It's available to you. Take the time to make the right decision for you, and don't should on yourself or allow others to should on you in the process. Thank you, Tiffany, for bringing us that context and those examples in your story this morning. Absolutely amazing, inspiring, extraordinary work. All right, my friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode of Wake Up Legendary. If you want to enroll in our business blueprints and our challenge, come to an event, go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll, and you can see those options. Also, if you want a free complimentary accountability coaching call, email me personally at dave@legendarymarketer.com. We'll get you on the phone with an accountability coach, and give you a free session, help you develop an accountability plan. You can use it yourself, or we will help you to implement it. It's all about using what you learn here. Okay. So again, email me. I'll CC in one of our accountability coaches. You guys can have a free session together and use what you learn, or we'll tell you about the program and you can have us help you implement it and stay accountable over the next 6 months. I'd love to help. We'd love to help. Last but not least, make sure that you are subscribed to our Facebook Messenger notification list. It's just a simple little message that comes across Facebook Messenger on your phone in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Go to legendarymarketer.com/WUL. I'll also post that in the chat here so you can click it and you can get subscribed to that list. All right, my friends, we want to make sure that you're getting those reminders so you can jump on here in the morning and never miss a single episode. Remember, we've done well over 1,000 of these interviews now, interviewing actual clients, completely unscripted, no plan, no prompts. They don't know what we're going to talk about. Sometimes I don't either. It's all about just talking about the journey and what you are going to expect as you embark on it, my friends. That's for Tiffany. Get out of here, my friends. Have a wonderful day. Thank you again for an amazing show, Tiffany. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Peace.